This is the energy mix of Taiwan. Over 90% of everything that we use is disposable energy, meaning that once it's used, it is gone forever. Every liter of gas used in your car, every cubic meter of natural gas in a power plant, and every ton of coal, once it's burned, it needs to be dug out of the ground, refined, imported to Taiwan so that we can burn it again. Ignoring the obvious health and environmental risks of this model, almost none of the fuels we consume in Taiwan are produced here, and so everything we use relies on a complex network of mines, wells, and refineries, and ships that need to sail halfway around the world unimpeded like clockwork. If anything ever happened, either in the local waters around Taiwan or even on the other side of the world that interrupted those ships, it would put Taiwan in a very precarious situation, as it's generally not practical to store more than 1 month of this energy at a time. This, of course, is nothing new to any of you. There have been long-term energy supply risk discussions in Taiwan long before the most recent conflict in the Middle East started.
我们是99%、98%能源都从国外进口的，你凭什么比人家低呀？
价格要拜托中东国家没有出乱子。
以色列28号联手美国向伊朗发动攻击。
Reducing reliance on imported fuels in Taiwan has been seen as not just an environmental imperative, but also a way to increase resilience during times in crisis and protect national security.
其实台湾本来在自产能源上面就是比较弱，就是说，其实核能也不是自产能源，天然气也不是，所以其实如果真的说需要自产能源的话，老实说，再生能源才是。
Photovoltaics have been at the top of that discussion, and since a solar panel installed today is going to produce electricity for the next quarter century, immediately resulting in decreased fossil fuel consumption, there's also been a bit of a fuss to get them installed as quick as possible. With all that in mind, and the amount of incentives the government is offering to increase the adoption of solar panels, I personally was quite shocked to have received a letter stating that my application to install rooftop solar was denied on the basis that I am not a Taiwanese citizen. I made a video on that last year. There's a bunch of interesting and funny comments on it. If you want to read them, you can check it out here. But every law has a loophole, so if foreigners are not allowed to install solar panels on their roof, then I will just rent my roof to a Taiwanese person and they can apply to install the solar panels instead, and problem solved. And before any of you rush down to the comment section to tell me how illegal this is and blah blah blah, I just want to point out that Taipower already has all of those documents. I submitted them to them during the application process and everything was approved, so it's fine. In fact, the reason that foreigners have not been allowed to install solar panels on their roof is purely bureaucratic. It has no geopolitical bearing. One simple fact remains, which is that no matter where I go, this house and its roof are going to stay right here in Taiwan. There is no way for me to take it or its roof with me. The real reason that my application was denied is because the language in the application required that you apply using a 身份证, which ARC holders cannot get. I have been told that the new application process has already been amended with the new language saying that you can apply with any form of legal ID, which would allow ARC holders to invest in solar. And that is fantastic, because even though that's just a small number of people, the goal is to get as many people to put solar on their rooftop as possible. I mean, isn't it? I'm seriously asking because actually I'm not so sure anymore. The thing is, out of all of my homeowning friends, of which I am the only foreigner, they all wanted to put solar on their roof, but I'm the only person who succeeded in doing that. Let me repeat that again. All of my Taiwanese friends who bought houses wanted to put solar on their roof, but none of them did. Despite all of the incentives and the subsidies that were offered to them, none of them ended up putting solar on their roof. If you wanted to put solar on your roof and gave up or found the process much more difficult than you expected, share your thoughts down in the comment. Let's hear your experience. Anyway, the reason my friends didn't get solar is quite simply because they didn't buy new construction. Their houses are 10 to 15 years old, this house here is 25 years old, and more than half of all of the houses in Taiwan are over 30 years old. Based on the experience of my friends and I, that probably also means that over half of all the houses in Taiwan are not going to have solar put on them because the application process is just going to be too difficult and too time consuming, and so the owners just aren't going to do it. The older a building is, the more tin roofs, awnings, and other unregistered additions are going to be, and also the further the house is going to look from the original plans that were submitted to the city when it was built 30, 40 years ago. I got lucky with my house in that we immediately had a dispute with the seller and the selling agent as soon as I moved in. And so if there's anything wrong with the house, it would have come up in that process. You can watch those videos here. So thankfully for me, everything worked out okay. I was able to get solar on my roof, but my friends have not been so lucky. For example, one friend of mine who was planning to install 20 kilowatts of solar power on their roof was shocked to find out that their roof wasn't registered. "How can my roof not be legal?" she exclaimed to me. "It is the roof of my house." And while maybe that's a little bit extreme, it shares a pretty common theme with everybody else. It seems like in the past, builders had many creative ways of maximizing their floor plans, from mislabeling balconies and terraces to building a larger footprint than the occupancy permit allowed. And while those are all things that should be enforced and punished, it really should have happened with the building developers when the house was constructed, and not the 4th, 5th, or 6th owners that are purchasing those houses now, and only finding out about it long after they've moved in. Young families which are purchasing homes for the first time don't have huge budgets, and so they're the ones who are going to be looking for these older homes that just need a little bit of love. These young people are also the ones who are more likely to want to install solar panels on their roof, because in addition to any financial considerations, they also tend to be more environmentally conscious. They want to produce green energy because it's the right thing to do, and also reduce their own consumption by cooling their house with a layer of solar panels that block the sun and absorb its energy. Like me though, they probably also bought a house with a leaking roof. So even if there are no legal problems whatsoever, they're going to have to make the decision to treat their roof now and make it waterproof, or try to install solar and wait another 1 or 2 typhoon seasons while living in a leaky house. That's a terrifying process, and so most people just give up on solar and treat their roof as soon as they move in. Me, however, I am extremely stubborn. I lasted through 2 typhoon seasons because my application was rejected, and finally got my roof resurfaced last month. They removed all the old crack and tile, the top layer of concrete, put on a waterproof layer, laid down a waterproof fiberglass mat, and then resurfaced the entire roof with concrete again to give me an extremely durable and good-looking new roof. This had to be done after they drilled into the roof for the solar, or else I would lose my warranty, which is why most people have to choose from one or the other. Now though, for the first time since I moved into the house, we are coming up on typhoon season, and I am not worried about it. Being relaxed is always better than being stressed. Once this season passes, I'm going to finish my plans up here and put in some planters, couches, a bar, pool table. This is going to be a lot of fun, and thankfully none of that requires a year-long application process. The centerpiece of it all is this 10 kilowatt solar power system, which serves as a roof for this area and also produces money because the electricity is directly sold to Taipower at a fixed rate and a 20-year contract. I don't know how much it's going to be, but I'm expecting around 6,000 to 10,000 NT a month, which is like having an extra roommate but not having to deal with them. Since everyone loves rental income and everybody wants to cover their roof, this seems like the obvious solution for homeowners in Taiwan. I'll let the Laoban here explain what that process is really like.
说起来是不太容易来，因为做太阳能嘛，要先确定它的合法面积有哪些，然后再来制图。第一关是台电的并联审查嘛，如果这台电的并联审查通过之后，才是县府同意备案。那如果都 OK 的话，县府就是会给你同意备案，但是通常这2关的流程下来，将近半年的时间。
如果有人要盖那个太阳能板，就是推荐他们做什么？
就你可以在那个 Google 搜寻嘛，就太阳光电，你可以找在地的，因为在地的会来帮你，就是场勘啊，或者是后续的这个维护、维修、清洁，会比较方便嘛。光电这个事情好多面向的。
台东花莲的当地强项就是他有帮我很多，如果没有他，我真的会改不到。所以这要教他，我会帮他的讯息在 description 可以看一下。
I got mine installed not only because I'm stubborn, patient, and a nerd about solar, but also because I was able to pay with it in cash. For most people though, because this is an asset that produces rental income, the obvious way to purchase it would be from a loan from the bank. The interest rates in Taiwan are lower than the ROI for solar power. In theory, everybody in Taiwan should be able to get solar panels installed on their roof with no money down. In practice though, because this process is so time consuming, banks don't want to underwrite projects that are less than 70 kilowatts, which is a warehouse, so no one with a single family home is going to be getting those loans anymore, which is just one more reason why solar targets aren't being met. The original goals for 2025 were to be at 20 gigawatts of installed capacity, and now we've just hit 15 this year. It's a really smart strategy to have high goals for solar panel installation in Taiwan, though, because Taiwan is a major global producer of solar panels, and also it's very sunny here. And no matter what happens anywhere else in the world, the sun is going to continue shining right here in Taiwan. That much is guaranteed. And with all that beautiful sun, we can do some pretty amazing things. I have started electrifying my entire house. I got indoor and outdoor security to check on my plants growing and look in on my dad while I travel overseas. And I motorized the blinds, not just as a cheap party trick to impress people who are easily amazed by technology.
Look at that. Wow.
But most importantly, because this is the best alarm clock in the world. Instead of waking up in a panic to a blaring alarm, I have these set to silently open about 10 minutes before I want to wake up, and then I awaken gently to the rising sun at 7:30 a.m. instead of 4:30 a.m. Despite my best efforts, I am still not a farmer. This is my avocado tree. It's dying. This is my other avocado tree. It's already dead. This is my lemon tree. It's not dead yet. This is my other lemon tree. I think it's going to be dead soon. As someone who generally sucks at sleeping, I can tell you that a silent natural alarm has really improved my sleep and is highly recommended. I'll put a link down to SwitchBot in the description below.
好，你讲完了，所以问题解决了吗？
没有解决，我就是抱怨而已，碎碎念。
哦，年纪大了。